multi-talented now. All right, well, thanks for coming and listening to me today. When I was driving over here this morning, I thought, okay, nobody is going to be there. But you guys are troopers. Good for you. My name is Karen Weesner. My company is Data Mulch, LLC. We are a complete data destruction company. So let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I was born in Oregon. I figured that was odd enough for everybody here. My parents are actually, my mom's from Alabama and my dad is from Tennessee, but back in the 50s when everybody was looking for a job, everybody moved west. Big wood boom brought everybody out to Oregon, and so as odds would have it, both of my parents met in a little bitty town on the coast, and that's where my brother and I were born. Moved back here when I was 5 because, well, the wood boom didn't last as long as everybody thought it was going to. So we moved back here with my dad's family. So I grew up here in Memphis. I am a St. Mary's graduate. After that, I went to Washington University in St. Louis for a wonderful 4 years. And came back here with my lovely English degree. And everybody kept asking me if I was going to teach, and I kept thinking to myself, why do you think I'm going to teach? And they kept looking at me going, what else are you going to do with an English degree? Well, the answer is you go out to grad school, and you get an MBA in finance, which is what I did at the University of Memphis, which is where I met my husband. So he and I have been married 25 years this year. Yeah. Wow. And have these lovely 3 kids. I have 3 boys. They are 21, 20, and 17. 2 are at Mississippi State, and the last one is in his senior year at Houston, which brought us to the empty nest. And so we're preparing for it. We're proactively preparing for it and thought, you know, it's time for us to do something a little bit different. It's time for us to expand and kind of find something that's a good niche for us. So I grew up in a medical practice. My uncle was a physician here. I've worked in his practice since I was 15 years old. When I finished with all of my miscellaneous degrees, I worked for a practice management company here and traveled all over the United States and did due diligence, and I did mostly accounting, training. I took over business offices and told them what they had to do to meet corporate standards, and I was on the road a lot. And I don't know if you remember, but these were still at home, and much younger then. So I ended up doing some independent consulting for physicians. I had a partner for a long time, and she and I did that here because I had enough experience that I could make my way into people's offices and provide skill sets that a lot of their people didn't have. However, after a while, I found out that working for physicians on a full-time basis, not necessarily a lot of fun. And that's when we decided it was time to do something different. Time to figure out a niche that was here in the Memphis market that we could fill and do something that was really needed. And if starting Data Mulch wasn't enough, we also started a farm. So I'm also, as you'll see on LinkedIn, an erstwhile pig farmer. I don't necessarily look like it today, I don't think, because I wouldn't last long on the farm in this. But we have 6 breeding sows. We have 1 very, very happy boar. 12 Saint-Croix sheep and 2 rams. So you can generally find me on Friday and Saturday at the farmer's market at the Agri Center doing this. So if you have any special pork meat, I can pick you up. Back to data mulch. When we originally started data mulch, really the niche that we found that's missing in this market is hard drive destruction. Hard drives is one of those things everybody has sitting around, but nobody's doing anything about them to get rid of them. And so, as we researched that industry, most of the people out there are poking a hole in the drive. Or I've talked to lots of specialists that were actually going in the backyard with a hammer and hitting it, and thinking that those things were actually doing what they needed to do. A hard drive is an electronic media. That's really not a foolproof way of getting rid of all of that information. So, as the research took place, the solution that we found that made the most sense, not necessarily from a startup cost perspective, but from a long-term perspective, was degauser. And so we purchased a Fujitsu degauser, which is a large rare earth magnet. It does not need electricity to run. All you have to do is put the hard drive inside it, slide it in, wait a couple of seconds, slide it out, and the hard drive is completely not only erased, it is non-usable. It will never store data again. You cannot access it. There is nothing left on it. I can put a magnet in there, and it will completely demagnetize the magnet so that it will never work again. Which is a really cool thing. The problem is, it's so slick, it's hard to sell. Because people think it's a little smoke and mirrors. I have more than 2 minutes. It's a little smoke and mirrors. So while we were working on doing data mulch, we found that a lot of people were also asking for shredding. So this seemed to be a good side-by-side market for us. We bought our data mulch shred truck and provided data destruction services on that way, so that it's helped us to make a gateway into businesses who had this need, which they did understand, and start to layer on the services that we really wanted to perform. So this is my beautiful data mulch truck that's still in the shop. We do complete data destruction services. Our truck is a hammer mill, so that instead of like a cross-cut shredder where you kind of feed it through and it just kind of comes through, ours is a hammer mill. So what it does is it takes a piece of paper, it has about 15 metal things like this, and literally pummels it, so that there's no square edges. Everything is big, round, pummeled stuff. And once it's in the back of my truck, it goes straight to the recycler. We use International Paper. So that every bit of everything that we do is recyclable, including the computers that we take away. We try to recycle as much metal as we can. So, why us? We're local. I own it. Service is where we try to shine. It's just me. It's my work. And it's my driver. And he is stellar. But that's all you have to deal with. It's me. I'll make it happen. And I'll follow through. You know, we've had clients, like the ones with my truck catching on fire, that I have had to call and say, you know, I'd be more than happy to set you up with another service. This is my delay. And they have said, we'll wait for you. Because they know I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And that's the best thing that I can sell.
Wow.